All right, I'll tell you something. 2015, we're in the month of October. It is October 3rd. We had our first O show of the month of October. In a couple of weeks, on the 17th, guess what we got? We got exFEARience. Trick-or-treating, before the show, you name it. But before we get there, I gotta say one thing. I'm just glad that my brother wasn't here, PK. He had to go take a hike somewhere else. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight, and I have to deal with this guy right here, Mr. Bertoli.
You should be privileged to be able to work with me, and I'm lucky enough to stand in the shoes of PK.
No, you should be
lucky. You're adopted, though. I'm pretty sure. Let's just get on with the show. Let's get on with the show.
Whatever. Let me tell you something. Mr. Fonzarelli here. What he's trying to say is that we're getting started with the show. We got a ton of exciting matches that we had tonight. But first out comes the roster of what I like to call, what they call themselves Total Aggressive Pro Wrestling. I call them Tap Out Wrestling.
Crap.
That's right. That's one thing that you and I can agree on, Mr. Bertoli.
They don't belong here in the O show.
That's right. They didn't belong here at all. David Garrison comes out here shooting off at the mouth, and he calls out Jimmy Lee, one of his ex-partners from White Trash. But instead, who comes out? Bobby Popham. That's right. Bobby Popham comes out, and he decides Mr. Garrison decides to make a match between him and his boy, Cody Fairview.
And man, was it a match. Great match, and we all know who ended up on top of that one.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something right now. I was so excited to see Bobby take on Cody Fairview. Yeah, Cody Fairview won, but I wouldn't say he's the better man. It took 6 tap-out wrestlers to go beat him. It took 6 of them.
6.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
We know you aggression guys can't count very well.
Yeah, so since you all Pearl Harbored Bobby Popham, stuck up from behind and attacked him, well, guess what? So, Cody Fairview, you know what I'm trying to say. He face slams Bobby Popham and gets the pin. Yeah, you got lucky this time, guys, but there's a future that you're not a part of. And then that brings us to match number 2. And we had Kit Bryson. He is our Generations champion, and he took on Will Caution. And what a match that was.
Well, that match actually was set up for the best out of 5 matches. So in the course of the next couple matches, we'll see who actually is going to keep the Generations title. Will Caution's up on 1. So we'll see how it goes in the next couple weeks.
That's right. We're going to find out who the real man is in that feud. And yeah, I say feud. I like that. And then after that, we had a triple threat match. We had Bolo versus Marcus Adams, one half of The Royal, one of the greatest tag teams I've ever seen in the world of professional wrestling. And of course, The Royal.
Oh, I always get that wrong.
Yeah, I know. You got to get your names right.
I like it with cheese.
Oh, you got to learn your names, Mr. Manischewitz. You got to remember. Yeah, there you go. My name's Joe.
Let's just keep moving on.
Oh, whatever. Well, anyways, we had the student of the game, James Boulevard, in that match too.
Reading Rainbow.
Yeah.
What is that book? What is that book he has?
That is a book of professional wrestling. Okay. That is the encyclopedia of professional wrestling. James Boulevard is a student.
It's blank pages, Mo. I've seen it. It's blank pages.
No, it's not blank pages.
Blank pages.
Yeah, you're just seeing things, and that's your spin.
Well.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. I just knew the outcome of the match from the very beginning. Marcus Adams, one half of The Royal, proves that he is championship material. I'll tell you something, he put a knockout blow on the Bolo and pinned him.
That he did. But Bolo standing pretty strong on his own to face 2 people.
Yeah, he did. What? They didn't double team on him. It was a triple threat match.
Were you not watching the match?
Yeah, I was watching the match. They all went after one another. They went after one another. Like, what am I trying to say? I don't know.
You don't know.
You're just
How does PK work with you?
He works for me.
We'll keep moving.
Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Out comes Jake Hughes.
Fabio.
Don't call him Flavio. The guy's got muscle. He's in shape. He's got the hair. He's got the looks.
Kids. We all know it, and they know it.
It's the Bad Boys Club, not Garbage Pail Kids. Get it right or pay the price.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you something. He comes out. He calls out Johnny Walker, the Scottish simple mind. But you know what? He was too afraid to face Jake Hughes, so he gets this new guy to take him on instead. Cameron Cade. Never seen the guy, but I gotta say, I was pretty impressed with him. First match in the OSWA, first match with the big boys, and he jumped into ice cold water, the deep end of the pool. Watched him, first time in the OSWA, takes on the best of the best in JQ's. And I gotta admit, Cameron Cage, JQ's got you. He beat you, and I knew he would, but I gotta hand it to you, pal. You gave quite a fight. You gotta agree with that.
Yeah, I hope to see much more of him in the future of the O, and I know we will. So
I know we will. Yeah, that's why I said he looks like a champion.
Oh man,
you can tell he's got a body like mine.
Athlete for sure.
Absolutely, you can tell he's definitely following my workout program.
The fitness week?
No, not the Wii.
Oh okay.
But,
no.
Come on, I go to a real gym. I don't play Atari.
In his living room.
Oh, will you be quiet?
Yeah.
But then we had a tag team match of all tag team match. I was looking forward to this one, guys. We had Vengeance teaming up with Gemini to take on their rivals, Z and Scorn. And I'll tell you something. You could tell that Vengeance wanted to get his hands on Z, and you could tell that Scorn was itching to get his hands on Gemini. And I'll tell you something, that match was a good match, and you could see the pressure on the shoulders of Gemini, and you could see Vengeance getting further and further twisted and torn away from his former self, Chris Damien. Doesn't even remember that guy. He's a monster. He's not even a human being anymore.
Just to watch him tonight, he was completely losing it. He doesn't know who he is. You're exactly right.
I asked him earlier today, what did you think of your match as Chris Damien? Who is that guy? He didn't know. He had no recollection. I tell you something, I know Jackie is playing with his head. Because when I mentioned that, she turned right around at me and she gave me that evil Chester Cat grin. And I'll tell you something, I can't wait to see what happens ultimately to Vengeance, because he is getting twisted and turned, and with that he's getting more dangerous.
But at the end of that match, though, comes with Scorn actually challenged Gemini for a mask.
You're right. Mask versus mask.
Mask versus
mask. And I'll tell you something. Vengeance and Gemini, Vengeance chokeslammed Scorn, knocked the life out of him. Pinned Scorn, but it wasn't over. They further beat him down. So Vengeance and Gemini further beat down Scorn and Z. But you know what? Like you said, Scorn said, hey, you want to try and take off my mask? And he tried to. Gemini tried to. But he said, hey, how about this at exFEARience? I'll take you on, and whoever gets pinned gets their mask removed. And then we hear Z take on Vengeance. He says, at exFEARience, we're going to solve this once and for all. And I can't wait to see that match.
The line has been drawn in the sand for them two fellas.
I tell you, that's going to be an amazing chapter to possibly the end of that book. And I'll tell you something, then we had Patrick Samuels, the other half of one of the greatest tag teams in the world of professional wrestling, The Royal. He came out and he faced our corporate title and golden ticket winner, Adrian Phillips.
And Most Improved Wrestler 2014.
Oh, well, you're just like PK. You know that? You guys always love to push my buttons. Hey, let me tell you something, pal. It is the year 2015. 2014 ended a long time ago. That's a relic of the past. And so I don't care about that title anymore.
Not if you're Alpha McFly.
Oh, that guy, he's a delusional time traveler. You don't know what you're talking about. Trust me, I know he's an idiot. But let me tell you something. So Adrian Phillips takes on Patrick Samuels. And I'll tell you something, yeah, he got lucky. He's able to get Patrick Samuels. After Patrick Samuels beat him down, he managed to get a lucky move, get him into a modified camel clutch, and he managed to make Patrick Samuels tap out. However, what I loved was how Marcus Allen, the brute, the savage of The Royal, went in there and beat up Adrian Phillips. And he says, you know what, for the corporate title, I'm going to do that exact same thing to you 2 weeks from today at exFEARience.
Well, actually, he said he would do the exact same thing he did to Curtis Coleman 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we all know what happened there.
That's right, he said he was going to scramble his brains. Like his brains aren't already scrambled.
And you would know, Joe.
Yeah, I would know, because I look at that guy. There's nothing going on in between those ears.
That's exactly what you see every morning in the mirror.
Oh, well,
moving on. Go ahead.
Shut up. Give me a break. And then we had our next tag team match. We had Deadly Instincts, the 7th grade sensation, the pretty boy, Keith Cage, teaming up with that joke, Jamar Anderson, to take on CTMD, Tower Wood, the world. Well, the OSWA, but in my world, the world heavyweight tag team champions. Chad Wood, feel a little under the weather. He hurt his back.
Oh, poor Wood, Chad Wood, poor muscle.
Oh, you think that's funny? Let me tell you something, man. People take risk in that ring, and they get hurt sometimes. So let me tell you something. They bring out one of their friends, Mr. Ballinger.
Mrs. Ballinger.
Oh, will you stop doing that? You know what? You're just jealous of him because he's a man. Yeah. So Mr. Ballinger teams up with Tower, and they just lay waste on Deadly Instincts.
All over that.
They proved, and they said before, they said, Completely Awesome is not here. You guys will make great hors d'oeuvres. And sure enough, they just ate right through Deadly Instinct. Go home, boys! This is a real man sport! Why don't you go home, watch your Whopper Room, watch your Sesame Street, and do your social studies homework. Be safe, be home, don't be here in the OSWA because you don't belong. Yeah, that's right, that's what I have to say. And I know that you'd agree with me. No, right, Mr. Manischewitz?
No, I don't agree with you all, Mo.
What?
At all. And it's easy to talk about somebody when they're not here to defend themselves.
Oh, well,
but again, Tower and Chad Wood, they're good.
Yeah, they are.
But they're not awesome.
Oh, they don't have to say they're awesome. And I'll tell you something, Completely Awesome is going to prove that they will prove that CTMD is way more powerful.
Well, we'll find out
way
soon
more awesome. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna find out. And that takes us to the main event. And I'll tell you something. The main event we had a triple threat match for the Ultimate title. I said that.
Oh.
Come on, man. God, Mr. Martinelli. Good gosh. Okay, Alpha McFly, the delusional time traveler, and Johnny Walker, the Scottish simple mind, decides to take on our Ultimate Champion, Jackson Carter. And you know what? An amazing match that was. But you know what? Those two, they showed their true colors, their greed. That's right. They were attacking one another. They were double teaming up on the champion, and it still wasn't good enough. And Jake Hughes, thank goodness for him, he saw all the lies and the deceit and the crud that those two, I'm talking about Alpha McFly and Johnny Walker.
I thought you were talking about Jackson Carter and what's the lawyer's name?
Excuse me, that is Percival Tobias.
Yeah.
Oh, will you stop saying? You're just like my brother. You know that? Good gosh, you're just as hard to work with, just a pain to get along with. Well, let me tell you something. Jake Hughes saw the sludge and the lies and the deceit that Alpha McFly and Johnny Walker were showing as their true colors, and he decided to go in there and intervene. And unfortunately, he did intervene. And I'll tell you, it's a good thing he did because Jackson Carter was getting cheated, and unfortunately, he got disqualified because of that. But hey, he is still the Ultimate Champion.
Do you hear the trash spewed out of your mouth? Do you remember? I was sitting there with you.
I watched with scope. What do you mean? I smelled great.
I had to get up and stop what was going on in that ring. Enough's enough. So what did I do?
Oh, here it comes.
2 weeks.
Mr. Bert and Ernie comes in to save the day.
I did save the day. That's what I do. That's what I'm paid to do. So, in 2 weeks, there's going to be a fatal four-way with Alpha McFly, Jackson Carter, Scotsman, Johnny Walker.
Yes, a Scottish simple
and
mind.
that dead Flabio guy, Jake Hughes.
Flabio?
So.
My goodness, yeah, and you're supposed to be Mr. Down the Middle, pure business. Ha!
Never said that.
Well, I said, and that's the way it should go. Well, hey, like I said, October the 17th, 2 weeks from this very day, we got exFEARience coming here, and we're going to do a little before Halloween trick-or-treating that night. So bring the boys and the girls for trick-or-treating, and we are going to open up the doors at 6 p.m. and at 7 o'clock, exFEARience begins.
And don't forget, costume contest.
Costume
contest.
Well, yeah, they're all going to dress like me. I mean, why would I want to have... Come on, they're all going to look like me. If you dress like me, you'll win.
We'll see you in 2 weeks, guys.